Why are you willing to suck up to everyone else's problems, but not willing to do the work for yourself? You see, this is something I used to struggle with almost every single day. I would always be putting in other work for other people, but I never took the time to put in the work for myself. Even when I started the gym, it was the first thing I had ever really did independently and that I put in all the work for. But even while I was in the gym, I was still taking that time and I was thinking about other people constantly. Even when I would feel in like I was in my safe environment, I would still be constantly thinking about the satisfaction of other people. How do they perceive me? How do they look at my body? Do I look ugly? Do I look good? I would constantly be thinking about other people. I've gotten so many countless questions of people asking me, how are you so comfortable in the gym? How long did it take for you to get your physique? What did you do to be so confident in your body and posting and all of that stuff? You see, it was progression. It was not just like an overnight thing. It was something that I had to work on. Obviously, when I started the gym, I was also very insecure. I would go in and I didn't know anything about what I was doing. And now I have friends who ask me the same thing. How do you overcome that insecurity in the gym? So I want to talk to you guys about that today because it's something that's very serious and not only in the gym, but also in real life about how to overcome insecurities and do things for yourself. Recently, I've been cutting to the chases in a lot of my videos and just going straight forward with you guys because that's who I am. I am a very genuine person and I'm very confident about that. Now, when I say like cutting to the chase, I'm talking about getting my point across because truly all of you guys know that I just want to inspire every single one of you. But the thing is, that doesn't just take like a mental drainage out of me, but it also takes a physical. Because the way I chose to help and inspire other people, because it is also something I'm passionate about. It's not just something that I'm doing for fun. This is something I want to like almost make a career out of. It's showing up every day, going to the gym, posting content, feeling way out of my comfort zone because trust me, like I get the same amount of insecurity as probably you do from recording or doing whatever you're doing that you're starting out with, but it is something that you are passionate about. And I have people, a friend of mine, and we talked about this yesterday. I have people constantly now since my following has grown immensely over the past couple weeks even on Instagram or even on TikTok because my TikTok has grown also pretty big. I don't use TikTok as much, but Instagram is more of my like main platform. And constantly people reaching out to me asking me questions, and I always love seeing your guys' responses. I literally love every single one of you guys that supports me. Even to my haters, you guys bring me support. So thank you. Anyways, that being said, a friend of mine and I talked yesterday, and we both mentioned about people reaching out to us and asking us things, but then we were left with nothing. For example, um, I have had some people reach out to me about my diet. They would tell me their own situation and say, "Nini, like I'm overweight." Just say it like that. I'm overweight, and I want to lose weight. How do I do it? You see, I was always physically very fit. I started out very petite, but the thing about that is I wanted to help. Everything in me wanted to help this person. So when this person asked me this, I was about to be like, spitting everything to them, and I did. As a matter of fact, I did. The amount of times I've like written down my entire workout routine because people ask me, "How did you grow a butt?" That's like one of my number one questions is how did you get a butt, And it's kind of funny. But at the same time, it's also something I worked so hard for and that I let people take advantage of. And I'm not saying people taking advantage of like my actual butt, but I'm saying like people taking advantage of my hard work and my consistency. And like when they would say like like can you send me your workout routine for your butt, or your diet or whatever it is, I would literally take hours at a time making sure it was perfect for this person that only asked me for this. And then they would either do two things. Number one, thank you so much, have a nice day. We would not talk for months or even years or even never again, never again. We never spoke. Or nothing, silence. And that's when I started to realize something. I knew that this social media was gonna come with the cost, and I knew it was going to be a good and a bad cost. Because the good cost is I'm doing what I love doing. I'm going to the gym, I'm putting out content, and people support me. People support my physique. They like the way I look. I like the way I look now that I've gotten so much recognition for my hard work. But it's also a bad thing because the hate and the draining that comes out of it, of people asking for help but never taking any action with their words. Your wasted potential comes from your words. Everything that you say is possible to do. Even if you were like, I'm going to make $1 million this month, it's possible. Although it's going to be it's going to be stressful. It's going to be stressful, but that's just an example. You are going to be put through so much stress because you created this possibility within a month, and that's a really short amount of time. You have to be realistic with your goals. When you create and when you put out things, it comes from within. It does not come from ChatGPT. It does not come from searching up what to post. How do I post this? Obviously, you learn that way, but it doesn't come from your actual content. You don't copy paste, because if you copy and paste, you are not original. You are not following your niches, and that's what I've talked about in my last video was niche. You want to have your own thing that doesn't involve copy paste, because you want to be yourself. Also, everyone is different. Everyone has had different life experiences. They all talk, walk, eat, sleep different ways. Now, that being said, a lot of people, they know that. They're like, oh, obvious, that's an obvious thing. But then they forget it, right? They forget it. And then they go on social media, they compare other bodies with their own, not knowing that that person either has had surgery, put in way more work than you. Just being honest. Just they probably put in way more work. They probably have so much more money or something that you do not have. Now, then the person watching gets insecure. They start thinking, why can't I have that? But then they don't do anything about it. They don't take the time to actually sit down with themselves and acknowledge that they are doing something wrong. Whether it is sticking to the job that you have currently. Look, I have a job I do not want currently, okay? And I figured that eventually I'm going to have to let that go. I'm going to have to move on to bigger things and things that I actually want to continue doing with my life. You're holding on to something that does not belong. Now, I've always said this, and I'm going to repeat it because this is probably going to be the most important part of my video, is trust the higher up. Trust whatever you believe in and let it go. Every time I have done that, I have gotten something better. I've always gotten something better out of letting something go that I wasn't sure about. And I know that makes me sound like a quitter, and I know that's probably not a good thing because I have had to do that with relationships. I've had to do that with jobs. I've had to do that with even people, actual like family members that I've had to do that with. I've had to do that with money. I've had to do that with time. Very valuable things I've had to let go to be where I am today. People ask me too online, what are your dreams? What are your goals for the future? I really, truly, my main goal is to inspire. I just want to be someone that people can look up to and admire. I'm not saying like a godly figure. I'm saying like I want people to learn from me. I want people to take my mistakes and say I'm not going to do that. Look, I was bullied. I went through a lot as a child. Now I have gone to the gym and you have seen me from my bottom to top. I've shown my transformation pictures. And I know like there are countless of transformations online of people, but for them to be able to have the courage to post those pictures, it's bold. It's a really bold thing because you are showing yourself at a very vulnerable position. And being vulnerable is also being real. I am going to be so vulnerable with you right now that I was so ugly in my first transformation picture. I was skinny. Even my face, it did not look good because of my insecurities and because of my confidence. My confidence literally tore apart my own look. And the reason I love the gym so much and the reason that I truly encourage going to the gym, it doesn't even have to be necessarily for weightlifting. It doesn't have to be for exactly what I do. But having some type of discipline like that is life changing. It will change your mindset. It will change your mindset. You will meet a group of people doing the same thing as you, and then meet another group of people doing something else or not doing anything at all, and you will realize the differences in mindsets. There's an insane difference. So you are not changing because you are holding on to stuff that is still connected to your past or something that is holding you back. If you want to move forward, you have to let go of those things. You have to realize that you are capable of reaching your fullest potential possible. And also acknowledge that you do have hopes, dreams, and goals, and that you need to go after them because you know they exist. And if you do not go after them, it will be your wasted potential. And you will have to live with that for the rest of your life because you are the youngest you will ever be right now. And I'm not trying to sound like a motivational speaker, but truly you are. I have taken every single opportunity that I can get to be where I am now. Every opportunity I will take to be the best version of myself. And I want you guys to do the same. And that is why I created this video today. I know it's very quick, it's very straight to the point, but I love you guys so much, and thank you guys truly so much for watching today's video. I hope I can continue and upload these videos tomorrow or the next day or whenever I choose to upload again. But I love you guys, and thank you guys so much for watching. If you do not already, please follow my social media at Liftnini. I'll link it or just cite it in the description for you guys. And yeah, please subscribe and like this video if you did enjoy.